everybody, Max Rich here with Totally Electric Guitars. Today we're talking about a concept that a lot of players I think have a little trouble with in the beginning of the intermediate stage of playing guitar. And what that trouble usually is something that I call phrase displacement. A lot of players, especially, I'm speaking mostly of blues rock oriented players, not so much maybe classical or jazz oriented, maybe more, like when I started, I was playing, wanted to play Jimi Hendrix, wanted to play, Guns N' Roses, Metallica, stuff like this, that kind of like, rock guitar oriented music. A lot of players, I notice, start their phrases on the downbeat. So whenever there's like a 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, every time that 1 hits, players a lot of times start their phrase there, and they usually start it on a very specific note, the 1 note. It's usually very common. What I mean is, if I were to play that little backing track thing that you just heard me jamming over, and I started every phrase on the 1, it would sound pretty static and boring. Take a listen. So you can hear it's very repetitive in the fact that when I'm playing it, I'm starting every phrase, no matter how long the phrase is, if it's 1 bar, 2 bar, 3 bar, whatever, however long that phrase is, I was starting it on the 1 every single time, which doesn't give a lot of rhythmic variety. It doesn't lend itself to, vocal type melodies. Which is a lot of times what us guitar players strive to achieve. We want to be able to sound like a singer does, with all the crazy inflections and swells and all kinds of cool textures you can do with a voice, and nice melodies you can do with a voice. You can do with a guitar as well. So there's no reason to always start your phrases in the same spot. And I notice a lot of players don't necessarily start it always on the 1, but they always start it in the same type of place. Maybe the and right before 1. So instead of like, instead of like that, 1, 2, 3, 4, it would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, ba-bum, da-dum, bum, bum. And that kind of a thing, that it's the same concept. You're always starting your phrase rhythmically in the same spot. So what I decided to start teaching my students is that if you take the same phrase, the same simple idea, it could be anything. It could be like, whatever, something simple, and you put it in different spots within the bar, and you don't always start it on the same spot, you're going to begin to feel rhythmically the difference of just the same identical phrase being put somewhere else in the bar. And it's a very, very helpful tool, and something that, for me personally, I find kind of invaluable. So, stick with me. I'll show you some cool examples and show you how to kind of get used to the idea of phrase displacement, so when it's time for you to solo over some blues or something, you're not always playing the same stale licks that you're used to.